On the February 2nd edition of Friday Night SmackDown, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson made his triumphant return to the WWE after Cody Rhodes said he needed additional counsel to stop Roman Reigns. The Rock and Roman Reigns had a much anticipated stare down to build up a dream match of sorts. A dream match that fans have been clamoring for nearly a decade following The Rock's appearance at the 2015 Royal Rumble to ensure his cousin got cheered following his victory of that year's Rumble match. Now the story writes itself. Roman walks around talking about how he is the tribal chief and the head of the table. Meanwhile, in the background, The Rock is silent, knowing that he is the real head of the table, and the one that indeed put the Samoan wrestling dynasty on the map. However, Rock's return caused an uproar amongst wrestling fans, casual and hardcore fans alike. This uproar is due to one man, Cody Rhodes, the man who wrestling fans feel like has been done wrong following his 2024 Royal Rumble win. This act of political chess by Dwayne Johnson is reminiscent of a political chess move executed in 1993 by everyone's favorite wrestler Hulk Hogan. Fans, peers, and celebrities like Gabriel Iglesias, Logan Paul, and Ricochet have openly expressed their desire to see Cody Rhodes in the main event of WrestleMania 40. The Rock has seemingly orchestrated a level of creative control and politicking mere weeks after being named a board member of WWE's parent company, TKO. Hulk Hogan has conducted several master chess moves of politicking in regards to creative control and backstage jockeying, like the one at WrestleMania 9, Bash at the Beach 2000, and SummerSlam 2005. Seemingly, The Rock has been able to come away with a squeaky clean reputation with regards to his politicking though. That was until last Friday night when wrestling fans seemingly saw him in a new light. Without further ado, I will analyze and compare the two biggest backstage politicians in the history of the WWE, Hulk Hogan and The Rock. And I assure you, The Rock is a bigger politician than you might have thought. Let's establish what a political chess move is for those of you that are wondering exactly what I mean when I say that. A prime example of this is the SummerSlam 2005 main event. Hulk Hogan had agreed to wrestle Shawn Michaels at the show in what was supposed to be the first in a best-of-3 match trilogy. The storyline going in was supposed to be icon versus icon, legend versus legend. It was a match that's simply about two of the absolute greatest to ever lace up a pair of boots, facing off to see who is indeed the better man of the two. Hogan had agreed to lose to Shawn in the end since Shawn was the guy that would be around moving forward, while Hogan was older and would go back into retirement. Then when the event came closer, Hogan changed his mind and implemented his political chess play. Knowing that he is a huge star, Hogan essentially little broed HBK to Vince and said that he's the bigger star, draws better ratings, and is more important all time, so he should win. Oh, and it will only be one match instead of 3, and Shawn would have to turn heel, which he did not want to do. You know the rest of the story from here. Shawn gets pissed and makes a mockery of Terry Bollea by overselling his moves and putting on one of the most hilarious sell jobs ever. In true Hogan fashion, he still lies about it till this day when talking about the topic in many an interview. Hogan utilized his leverage and the fact that WWE had already begun promoting this match to get what he wanted in the end, after doing the old bait and switch on Shawn and Vince, thus executing a political checkmate on the WWE. Hulk Hogan is no stranger to this, as this example is far from his first rodeo when it comes to politicking backstage to get what he wants. Hogan receives all the flack, rightfully so, for this event and so many others where he waved his creative control or superstar leverage in the face of management to get what he wants. Hogan is one of the most hated figures within the wrestling community, particularly the internet portion of the community these days for many reasons. Some are way worse than others. But his creative selfishness is one of the reasons for this pushback. However, when The Rock does this, it is often overlooked, but this time I think he may have gone too far. We'll get to that in a moment. The Rock decided that he would show up for a huge match at WrestleMania 28 with John Cena, dubbed Once in a Lifetime, which was extremely well received and satisfied fans that dreamed of seeing the two megastars face off. There was one wrestler that remained left out in the cold though, and that wrestler was none other than CM Punk. He was a WWE champion walking into that year's WrestleMania and in the middle of what would become an iconic 434-day title reign. Punk defended the title against Chris Jericho in the middle of the card in a pretty good match. Now Punk was not too upset. I'm sure he looked at it like, okay, Dwayne coming back is probably overall what's best for business since everyone involved will make more money just due to the massive pay-per-view success. No big deal. Rock and Cena had their huge main event match, but 2013 would surely be CM Punk's year to main event. I mean, he was still WWE champion going into WrestleMania season. Things went south for Punk pretty fast as he found himself to be a victim of political chess to The Rock. Firstly, The Rock pushes Vince McMahon to turn CM Punk heel, a move that took place at Raw 1000 when Punk GTS'd The Rock. This set up an eventual match between the two at Royal Rumble 2013. Not only did Rock affect Punk's livelihood by costing him merch sales after he turned heel, but Punk also lost his WWE title at the Royal Rumble to The Rock just 2 months prior to WrestleMania, and poof, there goes Punk's dream of main eventing the show. Rock beat him clean in the middle of the ring after a people's elbow, one of the weakest finishing moves in wrestling history, just to add insult to injury. Then The Rock politicked his way into making a rematch with John Cena at WrestleMania 29. That's right, what was once dubbed as once in a lifetime became twice in a lifetime, and the second match absolutely sucked. That match created an uproar within the IWC that was unlike anything we had seen prior. CM Punk was relegated to having a streak match with Taker, which isn't so bad after all, but Punk, like Cody Rhodes in 2024, deserved to be in the main event. He was the guy making all the towns at the house shows, selling the most merch, cutting the best promos, and having the best matches on a night-by-night basis. Whereas Rock spent most of his 2012 post-WrestleMania 28 sitting comfortably on movie sets. Back in 2012 though, the move to make Rock and Cena the headliner was defensible. And even 2013 was to an extent because Rock was younger and the WWE had an excuse of doing the match to sell the most traditional pay-per-views. Punk was so pissed off that he left wrestling for 7 years prior to his return in AEW in the summer of 2021. Cody probably won't leave the WWE as he just signed a lucrative contract that offers him his own tour bus and several other perks. Cody probably learned something from Punk's exit too. Patience. If Punk had stayed in the WWE throughout the mid to late 2010s when things got stale at the top of the card, he could have main evented at least one of those WrestleMania main events against Roman Reigns or someone like that. Surely Cody will get his moment in the end. The question is, will fans stay tuned long enough to watch it? People are upset about what happened days ago on SmackDown, so much so that the clip of Roman and Rock stare down has shattered the all-time dislikes number for WWE's YouTube channel with 600,072 hours. Insane. Let me get this out of the way now before people start coming for me. Yes, Roman vs. Rock is a dream match. Yes, it will attract the most eyeballs. Yes, it will sell more merch and generate more Peacock subscriptions than any other match WWE could possibly do. With all that being said, this political chess move by The Rock is just worse than any backstage politicking ever done by Hogan. Especially what he did at WrestleMania 9, which is what people have been comparing Rock replacing Cody to. Look, let's be honest here. Hogan saved us from a painful Yokozuna title reign, which we still ended up getting anyway, and it was a little bit shorter. I've already made a video about WrestleMania 9 and all the ugliness that occurred backstage, so check that one out if you'd like more information. What I will say is this, Bret Hart was going to lose the title anyway to Yokozuna, and he actually did before Hogan stepped in and little broed Hart by beating Yoko in his defense. While what occurred at WrestleMania 9 sucked, it was not nearly as bad as what happened to Cody Rhodes. Hell, maybe Cody gets his Daniel Bryan moment, and this video looks silly in a couple of months. But before we know how this plays out, just judging by the direction it seems like it's heading in, Cody got screwed by The Rock in WWE. I don't think The Rock should be allowed to get away with it without catching the same backlash Hogan does, simply because he has funny catchphrases, sells a lot of shirts, and makes good movies. Rock needs to be held accountable, and this time in 2024, he has been by fans and peers alike. And that's in contrast to what happened when he stepped in and stole Punk's shine in 2013 to inflate his own ego. Now, Bret Hart became a bigger babyface and went through much needed adversity after what happened at WrestleMania 9, which in turn made his WrestleMania 10 WWF title win that much sweeter for fans who waited patiently for Hart to finish his story. Before WrestleMania 9, Hart won the WWF title at a random event from Ric Flair, and I don't even think the match was televised. Hart wasn't really a main eventer at the time, and was given the title in emergency because he was a rising star and had a small figure that was the opposite of the steroid-filled comic book characters. Simply put, Hart wasn't ready for the title and was given it because Vince McMahon was facing jail time over steroid distribution and needed a normal-looking guy to be the face of his company. Hogan then proceeded to do Bret dirty by not dropping the title to him at SummerSlam 93 like he promised he would. More on that in a later video. The problem with what happened to Cody is that he already went through the adversity that Bret did, and twice over at that. He went through adversity his entire career as he went from being a mid-carder stuck in his father's shadow, to a self-made indie guy, to the face of AEW, all the way back to being WWE's biggest star. Then he got hurt 2 months into his WWE return and wrestled with a torn pec for this company and our entertainment. He made his huge return and won the Royal Rumble in 2023 and had everyone wanting to see him finish his story at WrestleMania 39, only to come up short against Roman Reigns thanks to a hooded Samoan. The excuse for Cody losing was that he needed to face more adversity. He needed to get fans behind him more so that when he finally won the big one, presumably at WrestleMania 40, it would be that much sweeter, like Bret's victory at 10 and Daniel Bryan's at 30. That is the road we were headed towards until The Rock got in the way and pulled out his "that doesn't work for me, brother" card with the board members at TKO, Paul Levesque, and Nick Khan. Here's why this move by The Rock is worse, or maybe even more impressive than any political chess move Hogan ever played. And the reports coming out about this in the media are doing no favors for The Rock. According to reports by several news outlets, WWE knew on January 3rd, 2 days after The Rock showed up at Raw Day 1 and announced he would eat at the head of the table. They knew they were going with Rock versus Reigns at WrestleMania at that moment instead of a rematch of Cody and Roman. With that knowledge, WWE still booked Cody to win the 2024 Royal Rumble in St. Petersburg, or Dusty Country as Cody put it, and proceeded to have him have a stare down with Reigns, all but confirming a showdown between the two in Philadelphia. Instead, what we got on SmackDown was Cody coming out to the ring and telling Roman he wasn't going to face him at WrestleMania, and that he phoned in The Rock to finish the job that he couldn't get done at WrestleMania 39. The message from Cody wasn't, "I had never been in a main event before, and you got the better of me with your experience, and I'll be back better than ever." The message was, "I need The Rock to beat you for me, so I'm giving him my WrestleMania spot." This booking did no favors for anyone involved, and was probably done to protect The Rock's ego. The impressive part, The Rock convinced TKO to make him a board member of the company, and then essentially used his power to overrule Triple H's creative and force himself into a match with Roman. Somehow WWE managed to make a match that everyone wanted to see happen in Rock vs. Reigns, one of the most controversial and hated booking decisions of all time. And it all could have been avoided had the booking been a little better thought out. Like if The Rock had just showed up at the Royal Rumble and won the match. And maybe worst of all, unlike Punk in 2013, Cody is a huge star. Now Punk was a big star, but Cody is huge. So huge that WWE didn't even need The Rock in the first place to make WrestleMania 40 great. That is what no doubt hurt Rock's ego. And this notion that Rock came back to quote save WrestleMania after Brock Lesnar and CM Punk were confirmed to miss the show is silly. We needed The Rock to have this dream match with his cousin in 2016 when he was nearly a decade younger and could save us from a boring, predictable WrestleMania main event between Triple H and Roman Reigns. Instead, all Rock could do in 2016 at that WrestleMania was wield a flamethrower. Now, with all due respect to The Rock, as he is an all-time great and one of my absolute favorite wrestlers of all time, we don't need you at WrestleMania 40, and that is because the prospect of a Cody-Roman rematch made everyone who once desired it forget all about a Rock and Roman dream match that seemed like it would never happen, and now that it is, seemingly no one wants to watch it. And there you have it. That's going to do it for this edition of Wrestling Uncovered. Thank you all so much for watching. Man, I'm just blown away by the success of my video about the Ring Boy scandal. I just can't believe it. Thank you to everyone who watched that. Thank you to everyone who left a thumbs up. And I'll talk to you guys in the next one. Have a great day.